Millions of Americans returning to work this morning after a long holiday weekend. But in Michigan, 1,400 auto workers will stay home as part of indefinite layoffs at the Fiat Chrysler Sterling Heights assembly plant. The layoffs driven by a drop in demand for the Chrysler 200 and other mid-sized sedans. My next guest says that the shift to larger SUVs and pickup trucks is not just a Chrysler problem, with more than 55% of 2015 auto sales coming in from trucks. Let's bring in automotive expert Lauren Fix, the car coach. Lauren, good to see you this morning. Lauren, is this
good to see you, Dagan?
I see Fiat Chrysler putting these workers on indefinite leave and really, again, betting the farm on the SUV and the pickup truck, which is a mistake that they made back in the 90s. Remember that? They
a little early.
Right. They bet the farm, and then gas prices shot up, and they were hurt. Do you think that this could turn around this trend?
It could turn around. I mean, easily. It's hard to predict with sales. I mean, we just had this Brexit vote, which obviously did impact auto sales worldwide, and it did impact auto sales here as well. So what's interesting, though, is they've been building the Chrysler 200, which I thought was a great car, and the Dodge Dart, and the Dodge Viper, and now all that's going to be gone because they're saying we're going to go all in on Jeep. Sales were up on Jeep. We're going to go all in on building more SUVs and crossovers. And FCA is in trouble, and they really need to get in front of it because every other manufacturer's already figured this out.
Aren't they doing this because the SUVs and the big autos are they're higher margin products? Doesn't it make sense for them to go all in on them?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, that's why Jeep sales are up. I mean, you're looking at sales are up always and almost continually on Jeep since FCA's turnaround.
Well, it makes sense until gas prices rocket up for no reason, and then they're stuck with no smaller quality product, which has happened after the 90s, right, Lauren?
Right, and you know, it's funny, it depends upon who the next president is. I mean, if we're going to continue with fracking, then you're going to keep gas prices low, and we're going to be able to be more energy efficient, which has also impacted electronic vehicle sales. No one wants plug-in vehicles. Look at the sales numbers, they're down 22%. And the #1 selling vehicle is the Nissan Leaf, and their sales are up because Nissan product is selling SUVs.
Right. But the hybrid SUVs, Lauren, were doing really well. What's the turnaround there? Because initially those were the success story when it came to electric vehicles, the hybrid at least, and that's gone.
Right. Have you ever driven a hybrid? It's
no, I actually haven't. So tell me what's wrong with them.
Well, they don't make any noise when they're driving in traffic, which is, as a car girl, Lauren, I have a problem with the fact that they're so quiet.
I do, too. I mean, I drive big performance V8 vehicles, and I have an SUV that's diesel, and I'm a huge diesel fan. But one of the things I have to say is if you're driving a hybrid car, a plug-in car, it's like driving a golf cart. And if you're driving a hybrid, it's fine, but you lose all this towing capacity. And so if you want to take a camper, and camping is up, you've talked about RV sales being up, you know, you can't haul it with that. You're going to need a truck or a crossover or an SUV. And crossovers are awesome because you get the ride of a car and the flexibility of an SUV. Sales are up.
Speaking of electric cars and the electric automaker Tesla, under pressure following that fatality involving its autopilot system. And then on Sunday, Tesla comes out and announces that it delivered 14,370 cars in the second quarter, but that was a decline of 450 deliveries from the first. Elon Musk, the CEO, blaming an extreme ramp-up in production. But again, it's another knock on Tesla, Lauren.
Right. You know, it's interesting. He had just, on May 20th, he had just borrowed $2 billion from investors with all these promises that we're going to exceed that 17,000 limit. He didn't even come close to it. And when you're looking at that, why would you borrow that kind of money from investors and then not even meet that goal? And he hasn't met this goal all along, and he's never had a profit in this corporation. I mean, I own a manufacturing company. You can't have a loss and make it up in volume, and that's what he's been trying to do for the longest time. And so eventually this is going to catch up with him, and merging with Solar City is a huge mistake, although it's family, so, you know, I guess he's going to do it to save his cousin.
It smells bad. The whole thing smells bad. Lauren?
I agree. I've never been a fan of Tesla. I think that going against the system may sound great on the surface, but as you look at it down the road, it does not help consumers. I know these people that are, all the Tesla haters are going to email me and tweet and whatever, but I'm going to tell you right now, it sounds great on the surface. It's great when you buy an iPhone and you need to get a new one, you go back to the store. When you got a problem with your Tesla, you have to wait for the 12 Rangers in the country to come to you. Right. Or, as I see here in New York State all the time, they put them on a flatbed and send them to a service center. how many people have that many cars that they can say, oh, I'll let my Tesla go in for service while I drive something else, which is why the Chevy Bolt coming out is going to be a pretty good success.
Lauren, this is why we're simpatico, that we're sisters from another mister, because we think the same thing about the same cars. Lauren, thank you. Lauren Fix, the car coach.
Thanks, Daga.